Lucky Lefty podcast. The Onora boys are in the building. Brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com, that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. And if you drink, by all means, make sure you do so
responsibly.
As always, we are on that station, CFB Nation, and it's presented by Twisted Tea. Left, we're going to talk about Marcus Freeman. The secondary finally being tested. Brenan Armstrong and the North Carolina State offense and what they might bring to task early, 11 o'clock start, 12 noon on the East Coast. But something happened last night. We did a primetime show, and it was really a mega show because we gave you 2 hours. Yeah,
That's
we're
right.
gonna start with we're gonna get to some leftovers that were funny, right? Notre Dame fans are in their feelings about some of the things we said. So we have to give them some clarity. Well, we need to start because something happened last night as we got off and we said, Notre Dame fans, we want you to go enjoy the second half of Clemson Duke. I didn't know it was going to go that way, Left.
Well, not as brutal as it was. No, I thought, obviously Duke had a solid foundation going into it. I like their head coach, but getting banged like they did shocked a lot of people.
Now, let me tell you something. Remember, we left the show last night talking about how important the quarterback position is in this day and age. Like, it's crazy. And how the quarterback play is being elevated.
Yeah.
We talked about Notre Dame possibly going back to the portal next year. Clemson has a quarterback problem, bro.
Yep.
Clemson has a quarterback problem. And it's not so much this highlights what Sam Hartman does for Notre Dame. Take Tyler Buckner, for instance. Tyler Buckner was talented, but it just seemed like crazy and bad things would just happen. The craziest and bad things, right? And you get someone with the experience and poise of Sam Hartman, and it seems like the chances of those crazy things happening becomes slim to none. Clemson, the entire second half, just runs the ball like crazy, gets to the red zone. Man. Klubnik and Shipley with an exchange fumble. Massa with an exchange fumble. It is the inexperience of a quarterback. They get to the 1 yard line, false start, moves them back. Klubnik pulls the ball instead of giving it to Shipley for a touchdown, and then ends up getting sacked, trying to run out to the right. It is just the inexperience and the lack of composure at quarterback in this day and age cost you, especially on the road in college football. But Dabo Swinney, look, this is why Jack Swarbrick and Gene Smith both left college football as athletic directors after being 2 of the most powerful over the last decade. They're principled men. They're principled men that don't like the direction of college football. And instead of their principles being challenged, they decided to walk away. So you tip your cap to them. Dabo, in the face of transfer portal, NIL, he's going to stand on his podium, beat his chest the same way he beat his chest when other issues that impacted his black players on his team. He stood and beat his chest on the conservative side, and it injured his recruit.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, man, you got to read the tea leaves, my brother. You got to read the tea leaves. You have to adapt. because you're there to serve those young men in your program. It's not about you. You got to adapt. And if you want that program, the last five losses, come on, man. You get dubbed at Notre Dame. You go home and end up getting dubbed by South Carolina at home. You win a championship game against North Carolina, but then you go and get dubbed by Tennessee. Then you come back the first game of the season
the whole off season,
and you get pummeled by Duke. Administration, they might forgive Notre Dame. It's Notre Dame.
they might forgive possibly all those other games too, except when you losing and getting bludgeoned by your ACC basketball school. The basketball team is the team that people go crazy for at Duke.
Yeah.
That hurts when
You know what was crazy? You watch Duke basketball games, right?
that's right.
And you know when Duke makes a run, you've watched games, you get used to hearing the Duke fight song. We hear it all the time when we see the Cameron Crazies going crazy, right? That was the first time I heard that fight song on the football field last night.
Oh yeah, they was loud too. They were
They
striking
rushed the
band
field, and
song.
I'm like, dude, they playing the basketball song.
I thought this was the Cameron Indoor.
Right.
I didn't. I was like, wait a minute, is that turf or is that the hardwood they running on? Because they shot it from over top. I was like, wait a minute, when did they get green court? No, that's the football. Yeah. And they came out because they believe in what they got this year as a product. But we need to slow down. Notre Dame fans of hoisting Duke as the challenge to get us to where we're trying to go. Duke is a good team.
No, that's not what I said. Duke is going to be.
They're a good team.
Because of the games is sandwiched in between. It wasn't about Duke. It's about where it was on the schedule. That's going to be a tough game. It's going to be tougher. Notre Dame, we said it yesterday, if Notre Dame brings the A game, it's a wrap.
But the difference is why I'm still like, it's not as big of a deal as it may appear to people that are looking at it, is because we have depth this time. We are 2 and 3 deep. So yeah, we still are going to have a huge piece of us taken from the Ohio State game, which in my opinion, I don't think is going to be as emotional as it is construed to be either, because they're struggling. They're in the same dang near boat as Clemson. They just played a worse team in Indiana. So Ohio State is hanging on by a limb as well because of their quarterback situation not being the second pick of the draft, talented. And so Marvin Harrison Jr., like I said, Marvin Harrison Jr. just is like a regular receiver. He can't throw the ball to himself. I've been saying that. CJ Stroud was putting that thing in places that a lot of guys can't do, and especially Kyle McCord right now. So Marvin Harrison is not looking like the Marvin Harrison Jr. that we know because of the guy throwing it to him. So Ohio State got their own issue.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm like, this is not a game as if we were going into and playing a Colorado and then come and playing a Duke.
Yeah.
That's a lot of emotion. That's a lot of stuff going on. But this Ohio State game is shaping up to be how the Clemson game is looking. Like another good game. Not season hinge worth, because they got to make sure that they stay on their game. They got a tough.
I mean, look, Duke is a Mike Elko. First of all, tip of the cap. He does, amazing job. And the talent there, look, the talent is much better, especially defensively. Right? And they have a good quarterback. They have a good young quarterback that's still growing.
But we got
Oh,
to be realistic too. Is that come on? Duke is a team
this
that just
this
got good, right? They just got on the verge of being pretty solid year.
no. When David Cutcliffe was there, he put together about 4 or 5. David Cutcliffe was right before. That was a break-in between Cutcliffe and Elko. David Cutcliffe. That's David Cutcliffe. What's the quarterback of the Giants?
Then no, I'm saying the gap from the 3 or 4 years they're consistently getting better since Cutcliffe.
Yeah. Since Cutcliffe. Yeah.
It wasn't
But
nothing after Cutcliffe left for a
yeah.
minute. So
Yeah.
uh, yeah, because of that, we don't know how this team is going to find themselves later in the season. They could fizzle out,
Yeah.
just like how Marshall fizzled out right after they beat
Yeah.
us the second game of the season. So I'm not
Yeah.
convinced. They got to do their part still, just like
Yeah.
everybody else, in getting to
Yeah.
the game. So I'm
Absolutely.
not going to overwhelm this conversation like Duke is will replace the Clemson in this big game because Duke's still a basketball school. So I would
Yeah.
never be thinking like, oh man, that they can pull one off. No, I don't think we're in a position where we're allowing that to happen anymore. I think that's the old way
No.
of thinking as a fan base, where we're like, man, hell, Purdue can give us a game, and hell, if we don't pay attention, Pitt may blow. No, this is not the same thinking as the years before. We are solidified on a foundation of we're going to beat the teams we're supposed to beat
Yeah.
and make it look good.
Yeah.
So Duke is a team we're supposed to beat, and we're
Yeah.
going to make it look good. It doesn't change just because they beating a team that's completely average right now and has no quarterback. And probably when's the last time you've seen Clemson's setup is real wild? It's definitely trending opposite of the times. So I think that for us, getting into this new perspective of thinking, it's just another game on the schedule. And Ohio State is, as they're looking, has more concerns than looking ahead to week 4. For us, yeah, we're one game at a time, but also we're not. We're going into the game with an efficiency. We're going into the
Yeah.
game knowing who we are, and a lot of these teams don't know who they are. You looked at Clemson offense; they don't know who they are. You looked at Ohio State's offense; they don't know who they are on offense. They want to be something, but they can't make it happen because they don't have the players to do it. So, in my perspective, I at least know who we are. I know what we can go into the game and go do without even being in the coach's office on a week-to-week basis. I know for a fact we can turn around and hand that football off. I know for a fact that if 3rd and 8, I'm good with Sam Hartman in the driver's seat so far. I'm
Uh-huh.
good with him giving us a chance to hell get us close to. We may go for it on 4th down because it'd be 4th for short.
Yeah.
And guess what we can do in that situation? We can hand it off. We can throw it. We can do anything we want. Defensively, I'm seeing a lot better effort from guys that I had questions about going into
Yeah.
the last offseason.
Yeah.
And if they're giving better effort, that's good enough for me because now I can know us playing complementary football, the offense is going to back up the defense. And that's something that we haven't had in a long time on a consistent basis. The defense don't have to be out there 100 plays a game because the offense is taking up some time of possession. Sam Hartman just drive and boop, 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 boop. Hand the ball off, just breaking, so we are in control of our own destiny when it comes to knowing who we are and moving forward. So I'm not looking at Ohio State as a threat when they have their own problems to worry about.
Yeah.
Dabo,
But
first game coming into the season, has no idea what he saw. He's like, it's the worst thing. I'm shocked. How you shocked first game of the season? you, you in the ICU the first game of the season? He's just not used to, which is interesting. You got to keep up with the
hey,
time.
look, I see. It's 2 things I want to point out that was said in the chat. The first one, someone was talking about Duke scheduling has nothing to do. Scheduling has everything to do. If Notre Dame would have played Ohio State later in the season last night, Ohio State would have won by 2 touchdowns. Notre Dame caught Ohio State early when they really weren't playing well. Scheduling matters. When you play a team matters. And if you schedule a team like Duke in between tougher games, your big 3 games, that's like you don't want to play a big game the week after you play Nate.
I
Because
think
your
we don't.
knees, No, I'm talking about back in the day. Your knees are gonna be bad. It's like, yo, scheduling matters. So to just poo-poo the scheduling. And then for me, look, I just watched Clemson run for 200 yards. If Notre Dame run for 200 yards, Duke ain't gonna be close in that game.
Oh,
it's not. They let Notre Dame in inside the 10-yard line 4 times. That game is over.
Quick.
It's over.
And that's what I'm saying. If you watch the game, there's no way.
As much as you might be impressed by what Duke did, Clemson ran the ball. Man,
Will Shipley would be on the bottom of the depth chart with Jabron Payne. Currently. And he's out there going crazy. You're absolutely right, Shaun. Everybody's yeah. But at the end of the day, Clemson was 58-0 when they ran for 200 and threw for over 100 or something like that. So statistically, it's an anomaly. But Duke, yeah, you're happy, but are you? You got lucky with turnovers in crucial spots. That doesn't usually happen in an average college football game.
Which is crazy because if you watch the first half, Duke gave the game away. Duke should have been up 2 touchdowns in the first half.
Easily.
And in the second half, Clemson just gives the game away because Clemson should have had at least 3 touchdowns.
At least. So if you think about it, if this was at Clemson, would Duke be having the same success? I don't think so. I think the mistakes that they made, crucial mistakes they made, is because they was at away playing at another stadium. If they was at home, they would feel comfortable enough to punch it in, crowd going crazy, and you dealing with all of that, which I think is the additive to where our experience comes in. But you got to think, we at that point when we play Clemson, we didn't travel all around the world to play to everybody we need to get ready for. So it doesn't affect us as it would affect the Duke, who is a regional. They playing teams down the street, and then they play the big boss at the end of the road. So for us, I do think we're built for these back-to-backs, and that's why Marcus Freeman got all these guys two-way anyway. Because if somebody go down, he can switch a receiver quick. He can switch a linebacker quick, whatever. And the youth, we finally have some guys that come in the game, that come into school ready to play. Finally, we got some young guys that came off the bus with their backpack, pillow, fresh out of graduation of high school, and can be productive in a game like this. I trusted Jaden Osbury to jump in there with a Jalen Sneed and make something happen against Duke. Because they're going to be ready by the time they get there because we playing them now. We playing them now. They're going to play in the Ohio State game, I guarantee it. They're going to play in this North Carolina game this week, I guarantee it. So by the time we get to Clemson, we got guys that are ready to go. So it's what we're built for, which I think Marcus Freeman had the knowledge of. He saw the schedule too. He said, okay, emotional game, Ohio State. We're coming back with Duke. We got to have the depth and the rotation and the experience with the young guys that's ready-made to come in and be competitive because we'll overwhelm a Duke by fourth quarter. We got 5 running backs. Bruh. You think Duke's going to be ready to stop that all game? Yeah, they're going to have a hype.
This is the mistake people are making, bro. Duke played. Go watch that game again. Duke played maybe a B- game.
Yeah.
Maybe a B- game. I'll say this again. If Duke allows Notre Dame to run for 200 yards on the ground, the game will not be close. I don't care how you talk about Duke being a good team. If Notre Dame is running the ball for 200 yards with the poise of Sam Hartman, Steve Angeli will be in the game in the fourth quarter.
Oh, yeah. Steve's playing in Duke.
At Duke.
And look at the numbers, too. The numbers signify that Clemson could do whatever they want. Those major turnovers are the reason why you're like, how do you have that many yards and lost the game?
And that's why That's why you can't say anything about Garrett Riley as an OC.
Yeah.
He made the change at halftime, like we're about to come out and power run against these dudes.
And they did it.
And they did it all half. He called a great game. It's not his fault. The running back fumbles at the one. You get a procedural call at the one on the other one. Cade Klubnik fumbles on exchange with all of it. That has nothing to do with the OC.
Nothing.
The OC called a great game in the second half.
He's looking at the stats. She's like, how did we not win?
Absolutely.
We Duke is like, we got to really think about the fact that we got lucky. Because who's making that many mistakes that close to that
Who
close?
gets 2 fumbles inside the 5? 2.
Like, Duke's going home like they had to rush the field. They're like, I can't believe we pulled it off. I can't believe we did. I mean, we shouldn't have won. It's not they're just so much better. They shouldn't have won. So let's not act like Duke did what they were supposed to. Yes. Are they a better than the sorry teams that we've known them to be before? Yes. But let's not act like they're at the level of where we are and act like they're going to threaten us. Like, come on, we have been built for this. That old perspective of any team can play with us, I don't believe that this year.
Left, you know what? You're right. You pulled me over. I might have been on the dark side a little bit this morning. Because the old mindset, the old Notre Dame mindset that we had gotten used to was, oh man, we got to watch out for that Duke team, boy. Oh, yeah. And you take a step back and you really look at that game, like really look at the game. Clemson physically dominated that game in the second half.
Duke's a small team
with an offensive line that's probably nowhere near as talented, and their running backs are nowhere near. They have a number 7 trying to act like Aldrich Estime. He's not Aldrich Estime.
He's not Aldrich Estime.
He's not Aldrich Estime. So, Left, you might be right. And Sam Hartman's a better quarterback than Riley Leonard. And I like Riley Leonard.
Nobody on Duke's offense will start over our guys right now. Nobody on the offense running back.
Can I say something else? Stop talking about the coaches Clemson lost. Clemson has a talent problem. Their problem is not coaching. Their problem is they don't have a Deshaun Watson. They don't have a Trevor Lawrence. They don't have a T. Higgins. Name a receiver from Clemson that's been All-American status over the last 4 years.
I don't even know who they got now. That's what's crazy. Will Shipley is the only person I know.
Clemson has a talent problem, bro. And that's why Dabo, you see right there at the bottom of the screen left, Dabo needs to run to the light, bro.
Yeah.
He needs to run to the light. We talked about Notre Dame, the quarterback situation running to the light. Maybe running to the portal again.
Yep.
Yeah. Dabo needs to run to the light.
Yep. This ain't that wholesome stuff you be trying to push.
No.
You will lose. You will lose.
No. And I wonder how long it's going to be before somebody in Clemson administration pulls him in the office and says, all right, because they play Florida State in 2 weeks, bro. Hey.
That's going to be embarrassing for them.
Hey. They play Florida State in 2 weeks. Can Dabo survive another?
Because Florida State going to put it on them. And you know, they got to play well in general. So it ain't like they're going to be running for 400 and throwing for 200. It's not going to be like that. That score may look like that, but it's going to be because they've been getting whooped on, not because they've been fumbling on the one. So,
and Michael Johnson said they have a quarterback. Who's their quarterback?
Yeah. Who?
Not the dude fumbling inside the red zone.
No, not that guy.
Not the dude running for a first down on 4th down and doesn't know when you start to slide before the first down marker that you're going to come up short. Who? What quarterback do they have? Not the one that was inaccurate in the first half. Who?
Yeah.
Show me the difference maker quarterback they have. Because I saw a full weekend of difference maker quarterbacks.
Yeah, young and old.
Duke had the best quarterback on the field last night.
Easily.
Easily.
Like by far.
There's a talent problem at Clemson. Huge talent problem. And thank God Marcus Freeman, that's the one thing he solved or tried to solve when he got here.
Get some talent in here.
And he's not ashamed to go to the portal.
No.
That's one thing we see. He's not ashamed to go to the portal. He's not ashamed to have honest conversations to say, hey, we got to improve this position immediately. Marcus Freeman ran to the light, left. Middle of last season. Lose to Marshall, lose to Stanford. He's like, you know what? I can't. I can't depend upon recruiting to solve this quarterback situation. I got to run to the light.
And not only that, look at the guys we end up losing in their production. Adante Moore, Dylan Edwards. He did his thing in recruiting with the Times. That's a guy looking for talent and had it. Keon Keeley in the building, Richard Young in the building, Dylan Edwards wearing the jersey, committed. Dante Moore was upset he couldn't come to Notre Dame.
Yo, can I ask you a question? Because I got Michael Johnson just threw out the excuse that K. Klubnik is a sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
Did Dante Moore just pop on Saturday? Did Dante Moore just pop on Saturday? What year is it? What year did Caleb Williams pop, left?
This same year. And he played half.
What year did Michael Penix pop, left? Hold on, Michael Penix popped at Indiana.
Yeah.
All these dude, I don't want to hear that, bro. I don't want to hear that. Difference maker quarterbacks pop. Shedeur Sanders popped as a freshman. Where was the HBCU? All right, whatever. K. Klubnik ain't it.
He ain't pop.
He ain't that dude. He ain't one of them dudes. He might end up being a pretty good quarterback after 3 or 4 years, but he's not a difference maker. He's not Trevor Lawrence. He's not Deshaun Watson. He's not on that level.
And he can lose games for you.
He's not on that level.
That's what Dabo was shocked by. He's like, I don't have the guy I thought I did.
That's the point. That's the point. You can't group quarterbacks. He's not an instant difference maker. He's not a step on the field as soon as you put him on there and he changes your program. That's not K. Klubnik. So you might as well put him in the group with everybody else.
I told you about them Texas quarterbacks, but they don't play in Texas. I told you about that. Remember? We had to do
well, I'm glad we got his wide receiver.
Yeah, y'all was getting on me about
I didn't get on you, bro. I was just saying that the state no, you talking about Braylon James pop.
Yeah, I was like, Texas quarterbacks do not do well outside of Texas. And I don't care how good they think they are and all of that. They get exposed when they get outside of that state. I wouldn't take no Texas quarterback unless it was Kyler Murray, but that's in the right situation. Jalen Hurts did all right, but he went with Nick Saban.
That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is Clemson had generational talent at the wide receiver position and at the quarterback position and at the running back position. Come through there at the same time. If you really want to compare K. Klubnik to Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson, I don't know what you're looking at. He's not generational. He's not. Because it doesn't take 2 years to see if somebody's generational.
Hell no. It's like watching it's like music. It don't take you 3 albums to be like, oh, he sound good.
No.
I ain't
No.
heard the first time I heard 50 Cent, I said, okay, yeah. If I was your best friend, I want you. I mean, it don't take long. It take the first 30 seconds to know if a guy got talent, if you can hear something differently,
Yeah. And
That's
see,
how I
this is gonna sound crazy. And I hope I can make it make sense. Sam Hartman was not a generational quarterback when he got to Wake Forest.
No, he's a seasoned guy.
But he is generational for Notre Dame right now
Mm-hmm.
because of who he is and the timing of him coming to Notre Dame and what Notre Dame has suffered. It feels generational. It's almost like you feel like, oh my God, we haven't had a quarterback like this. He's going to elevate the pro. It has that feel, even though he's not a generational quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's
But
not.
it has that feel for the program because of the timing and everything. And that's why last night we had to ask, man, if Notre Dame wins 11 games this year, gets to the playoffs, and then whatever happens in the playoffs, and then piggybacks off that, does Marcus Freeman have to go back to the portal, or does he put a young, strong, developing program and deep team in the hands of a sophomore and a freshman quarterback?
Yep.
That's a tough decision.
Not if you
That's a
know you
tough.
got a guy.
But I mean, Gino Gaduli might be the wild card in all of this because Kenny Minchie could be ready.
That's what I'm saying. If you know you got the trust in your guy, like Dabo had trust in K. Klubnik, to beat out DJ Unongagale. I think it definitely depends on where the state of the team is. Is the team ready to pop? We'll find out with Sam. But if the team is championship ready going into next year, which we believe it has a good chance, especially with the class coming in as talented as they are, the young talent that's going to be tremendously better by next year because all the playing time they're going to get this year. If they're on the cusp, I wouldn't mind them going to the transfer portal if the right guy was in there. I'm trying to think of the guys that will be available because all the guys that are good now are draft eligible. Ain't too many guys that aren't draft eligible. So
if your boy out there in Westwood mishandles that NIL money, Notre Dame can change their transfer policies, and we can just have Dante come on back. But no, seriously, man.
So it's a matter of
this is Drew Aller, because I think Franklin had to make the same decision, right?
I like Drew. Is it Aller or Allar? Is it Aller?
Aller. He's a sophomore, right? He's a true sophomore.
He's nice.
And he said, I mean, Sean Clifford was kind of like a Sam Hartman for them last year.
Joe Schmidt. Just you got to put him in there. He's got the legacy, let him finish strong, 6th, 7th year guy, whatever.
Yeah.
Drew Aller got time.
Yeah.
Let him have his swan song. He's more like Paul Pierce, not Kobe on the farewell tour.
Yeah.
You can show respect, but we got something that we're gonna be excited about next year.
Yeah.
And Drew is in the perfect situation. Got 3 years if you want him.
Yeah.
Nothing behind him and everything in front of him. And I think we should have took him based on his talent compared to who we end up taking, because I think he'll be a top 5 guy in 2 years or a year from now.
So it is very, as we said before, college football, especially for Notre Dame, is this portal It's changed everything, man. That's why Duke is competitive now. All the talent they've gotten defensively through the portal. You find you a good, solid quarterback, running game, offensive line, good coaches. Hey, what else do you want? That's how you
Yeah,
build
well,
a solid program. But as you said before, we look, congrats to Duke. Congrats. I left that game last night feeling a whole lot better about the matchup. Because Riley Leonard's a great quarterback, right? So you worry about Riley Leonard, his ability to make plays with his feet, throw the ball. That Duke defense has a lot to work on, especially when it comes to the run defense. As we'll say it again, if Notre Dame is allowed to run for 200 yards with Sam Hartman at quarterback, that game won't even be close when Notre Dame goes up to Durham.
no,
It won't be close.
won't be close.
It won't be close. Lucky Lefty Club podcast. Leftovers from last night before we dig into North Carolina State. It's funny because Notre Dame fans got in their feelings. Because we tried to explain that we have no bearing on what the record of Colorado is going to be.
Right.
I'm not a pro. Not look. I don't know the future like that, and I'm not a betting man. However, it's still, in my opinion, because Notre Dame fans was like, "Well, you and Malik, a couple of them after the show, you and Malik have been telling us to calm down when it comes to Sam Hartman. So you guys should be overhyping Colorado." First of all, we never overhyped Colorado. We never said anything about their record. We never said they're going to win the Pac-12. We didn't say anything. We were speaking to you. All the fans that dogged them, all the fans that said they were going to lose by 30, all the fans that said they weren't going to win 3 games, those fans, you. And then immediately after the game, you want the code switch. Oh, TCU's not that good. No. Keep the same energy. Keep the same energy. Don't back off because you were on TCU's left and right testicle for what they were going to do to Colorado all summer. So now that Colorado walked in there and took care of business, don't back off.
Yeah.
No. That was a good team that Colorado beat. Keep that same energy. Don't try to back off and then minimize what Colorado did. That's what we said last night. Because to do that, that's corny. That means you're not standing on what you believe.
Yeah.
Stand on your word. Keep that same energy. Now, for us, it's apples and oranges. Because Sam Hartman got here, and y'all wanted to get this dude the Heisman. Before he even took a snap.
But that just shows how much we desperately wanted some consistency at that position. And the moment we get a glimpse, we like just give him the whole thing. Just
glimpse.
He can have, he can marry our daughter. He can be the king of Tahuti. He could do whatever he want. Whatever he want. And I'm like, the man he beat a team that anybody on the roster we can win with. But he has some traits that we have been desperately desiring. That comfortable, that poise. He make the fans feel good through the TV that we can get it done. So I'm like, okay, but that's what you want for standardly. That's the average good football team. Got a quarterback that you can depend on. That's the average.
Yeah.
That's like the shock we have from having a decently average line for those first 5 games last year. then we end up raising the bar. But that raising the bar and how easy that looked is not an average thing for the rest of college football.
Right. Right.
So when we have the bar set crazy for all these positions,
Now, mind
quarterback just happens to be the lowest.
we still have yet to set a bar. We don't know what Colorado is going to do the rest of the year.
No idea.
We never set a bar. That's the difference. Sam Hartman came over, and all of a sudden, you all start setting bars like Notre Dame's winning the national championship. Sam Hartman's throwing for 5,000 yards. Relax. What's the one thing we said, Left, when everybody kept saying, oh, Sam Hartman's going to go crazy with passing yards? We said Marcus Freeman is the head coach. That means they're running the ball. Sam's not about to come over here and just go crazy. Did he have 200 yards passing last week?
Yeah.
They're going to run the ball against North Carolina State. They're going to run the ball against Ohio State. They're going to run the ball against Central Michigan. That USC game, he might have to go crazy.
Yeah, and that's what we signed him for.
And the Clemson game doesn't look as daunting.
The Ohio State don't look as daunting.
Well, Ohio State still has a couple of weeks to.
The thing is, if you
but I'll agree, McCord does not, even when CJ, because you remember, because people say CJ Stroud struggled in the opening game against Minnesota when he started. Because CJ in that second half or that fourth quarter hit his stride, and you saw the talent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if I actually saw McCord pop like CJ did.
Let's just be honest. He's not.
So,
he's not a guy.
I'm gonna give him a chance. It's on him to decide how good he's gonna be.
Caleb Williams let you know how good he was in a couple of drives.
Absolutely.
In a couple of drives when they were losing. That's how and where college football and the pop for quarterbacks, that's how fast it's got to be. That's the level of, if you know you're the dude in college football at quarterback or not, you need to pop on them first couple. Jalen Sneed winning the game, had one play that was more memorable than any other plays out of that game. And it was just one play, one hit. And we was talking about Jalen Sneed every time after that. That's where the talent level is in college football, especially at quarterback. There is no more wait until you a fifth year for guys that are playing early. Guys like Cade Klubnik will get better, but he's not winning the big games right now. He don't got the talent for it. In order to beat us, you're going to have to score points. Ohio State can't score points enough to beat us. Period. They don't have enough production out of the quarterback room to beat us in points, because you, even with them being talented, in order to win, you got to score. And we know one thing about this Notre Dame team. We're going to score some points. That's where USC is in trouble with us, because they can score some points. So at the end of the day, we have to win the shootout against them. Ohio State has to win the shootout against us. And we're Steph Curry and them boys right now.
Right.
They have to go into the week thinking, how can we get to 35?
Bro, you know how I feel. You know how I feel. Because it's the world. I've never seen so many draft experts in my life on social media. Everybody can break down film now. It's amazing. But at some point, people have to realize, dude, it's not, you don't decide whether or not somebody becomes successful.
Yeah.
I don't care how much film you watch. You watching film does not decide whether or not they become successful. Because there were a whole bunch of draft experts 2 years ago that said Michael Penix was trash.
Yeah.
When people were talking about Michael Penix coming to Notre Dame in the transfer portal, there were people connected to the Notre Dame program. Oh, no, he's trash. It's not up to you, dog. Whether or not somebody can play the game. It's up to the work those young men put in. Now, some people they just don't have it. But that whole expert thing, that's why it's dangerous to throw it around, bro. Because you don't control whether or not somebody becomes good. You look at a kid like, oh my God, he's great. Like I like Riley Leonard.
Yeah.
Riley Leonard could go to the pros and be trash, bro.
He'll be a David Mills at the Texans.
Straight trash. But the college film was like, oh man, he was great. It is what it is, man. It is what it is.
And that's where it comes down to.
That's why I say Kyle McCord, look, it's up. Whether it's him or Devin Brown, it's up to them.
They don't have enough between the both of them to win.
It's up to those two young men.
Think about think just in general, if you take a step back and look in the perspective of, think of how long they've had the Ohio State coaching staff has spent with the quarterback room. And to get all the way to week 1 and still not know who to play and still be iffy on the guy they have starting. And they come out in the first game and put up 23 points. And you've had all off season, you had all spring, you had all the mini camps, the individual times, the meetings, and you come out there and put up 20 points against Indiana? What signifies us looking so good is that we spent all that time with Sam. They spent all that time in New York and Cali, and they rode golf carts and went fishing and took trips all over the world. And what did we do coming first game? Score 50-something points. So what does that tell you? That tells you that we're a team that throughout all the training, all the offseason, we know who we are as has an identity, and we know what we're good at, and we know how to get to where we need to get to. There is no confusion going into the first game for us. We had everything firing on all cylinders. It shows a prepared team, a team that knows what they want to do. Yeah. So if you coming out and you got all the hype, all this most talented team in college football, Ohio State, they got all these weapons and this, that, and the third, and you come out and put 20 points up, I'm not worried. You just don't turn it on. You just
all
can't
I'm saying is CJ Stroud struggled early. His first game against Minnesota. Minnesota actually should have won that game. But CJ Stroud had two drives in the fourth quarter of that game where it was like, oh.
CJ Stroud and Kyle McCord aren't in the same sentence.
Hey, you are the quarterback. I lean towards you, and I believe you when you say that.
Trust your eyes.
Okay, let me ask you. Did DJ Uiagalelei walk into Notre Dame Stadium and throw for 400? Just answer the question. Answer the question. Did he do that?
Yes.
My point. No one has control over what somebody can do on any given Saturday.
To this day, that was DJ's best game ever.
Guess what? And Kyle McCord can walk into Notre Dame Stadium and have his best game of all time.
First of all, if we're talking about the time in which he did all of that, look at the team we had when DJ did all of that. Do we have that team talent-wise?
What do you
Now,
mean? What do you
the
mean?
talent we had when we played DJ Unangule on defense, is our talent better or worse than when we had that team? Our
Dude, that was
talent
a,
now
that
is
was a
way
team.
better.
That was a team that played for the ACC championship and went to the CFP.
I think the team we have now is way more talented than the team that gave DJ his ultimate game ever. By far. And we have more depth. And we have the right position. They didn't have Ben Morrison when DJ was playing.
Well, I mean, all right. Just Sam Hartman versus Ian Book. That
I mean, come on.
That's-
Come on.
that tilts the scale. That just
yeah,
tipped
I mean,
the scale.
Come on. What are we talking about? DJ did that against a team that's not who we are now. Remember, we played Clemson when they had DJ. When they got Trevor Lawrence back, we found out what the Clemson Tigers looked like in that next game.
See, I disagree with that. I disagree with that. Because if you go watch the first half, Notre Dame dominated physically the first half. They had 3 opportunities in Clemson territory and turned the ball over on downs 3 times. They moved the ball at will.
I'm going to use what
I'm not saying they would have beaten. I'm not saying they would have beaten Clemson, but physically, they pretty much stood up to Clemson physically the same way they did in South Bend, because in the first half they were pushing them around and running the ball and move. Ian Book just couldn't finish drives.
It doesn't matter, because just like how we're going to beat Duke this year, we're
Matter
going
of
to
fact, tell Amir he still owes us for that.
Yeah, I still get on him about it for sure.
Well, go ahead.
But yeah, the same reason why we're going to beat Duke this year, because we have the depth and to overwhelm them. So even if they give us their best shot, they can't make it last 4 quarters against us. Like we couldn't make it last 4 quarters against Clemson when they got Trevor Lawrence. So yeah, you're going to get punched, of course. But we're going to be doing the punching towards the end. And that's why we're going to overwhelm a lot of these teams on the schedule, just because we have the depth of talent. Not only do we have depth, we have talented depth. Guys where we like, shoot, any given day, they could start. The young guys could just start over the guys that we have starting now, and we'd be okay with it. And they might mess around and have more production.
Johnny Cruz makes a good point. The defense, in my opinion, was much better back then.
Really?
Bro, they had Dalen and Adi coming off the edges. So they had pass rushes, and they had Joker.
Hold on.
They had Joker at linebacker. Come on, dog.
Yeah,
come on.
We talking about 3 guys.
The linebackers were the linebackers were much better on their squad.
Jeremiah Rosa, of course. We can't downplay that. But as a team,
but I'm giving it to you just because of the quarterback. That for me,
that makes a difference. Yeah, but I think total production defensively, we have a better defense this year than 2018. We had Jeremiah Wosu, okay, and Kyle was on that team, right?
Kyle was on that squad.
But even with that,
the Adamiolas were babies on that squad. But they were playing.
But as a unit, production-wise, as a unit, defensively, we're
I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad if somebody in the chat said, "Give us that defense, and we'll take this year's offense." I wouldn't. If they said that, I wouldn't argue.
Okay.
And I can see if somebody wanted this year's defense, but I wouldn't argue if somebody said, "Give me that year's defense and give me this year's offense."
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But complimentary football, we're playing way much more sound, way better together than at any point of when Ian was here. I've never felt like the offense was in the lead of the team and being the strength of the team at any point when Ian was running the show.
Yeah.
Now, I do feel like the offense could lead the team and defense back us up when we needed a stop or something, because we can go down and score in 57 seconds like Sam Hartman has shown. We can come out and get the kickoff and go score 7 on the first drive. and can bank on it.
Yeah.
So that's the first time we've had that since I was at school.
Mm.
So because of that, it just changes the dynamic of the team where the defense is going to play better because they're going to be playing better in spots, not playing throughout the whole game. They can come up with a nice stop because we've been driving and we've been scoring points. We just need one stop so we can, get to the whatever we're trying to get to, right?
Yeah.
So
And
I do think,
that's really what college football has become, right?
yeah,
As a DC, I don't even know if you're game planning to like shut teams down. You're game planning to get like 3 stops
one
a
or two
game.
turnovers that you
Yeah,
can help us get more
right,
chances on the field.
right, right. I think Deion Sanders said that post game. He said we just kept asking them for 1 stop
That's
all
it.
half.
Because we got to get our guy on the field who can score them points.
Just get us 1 stop, and we can win this game. And I mean, look at nobody expected Ohio State to put that many points up on Georgia. Man, when you get to that level, I don't care how great your defense is. More than likely, you're going to be facing an offense that's going to be able to put up some points.
And what did we
So
show? The
you
greatest
better be
defense
able to
of
put
all
up
time.
points.
Greatest defense of all time in Georgia had a hard time stopping 2 guys on the offense and gave up 40-something points. 40-something points. And they had like 8 starters in the NFL right now on that field when they played CJ and Marvin Harrison Jr. and they gave up 40-something plus points.
And
Just 2
Marvin
guys.
got hurt. Marvin got hurt in the 3rd quarter. So who
So
knows
it
how
just
many they would have scored? Yeah.
the great teams, but it also showed you how Georgia was underratedly a good offensive team too. They scored 45 and
Facts.
63 in the championship.
Facts.
So
Facts.
yeah, a lot of people could make the argument Georgia's offense led the team. The defense was just so good and had so many individually great players that they got the necessary stops, but the offense was always scoring. The difference when they had Jake from State Farm, Jake Fromm, they wasn't as high powered. So the defense, as good as it was leading the team.
Yeah.
And they couldn't make up the points to back the defense up to win a championship, which is why Alabama had that great compliment for as long as they did, right?
Yeah.
This is the first time we've been able to put a team out there where we're like, you got to worry about our offense.
Yeah.
And we might run away with this if you're not scoring points or trying to, stop us on defense, as opposed to we taking on a tough Cincinnati team. I just hope we can hold them and get it to the last possession, and maybe we can kick a field goal to win. That's a non-championship mentality.
Yeah.
But now things have changed.
Yeah. D-Rock Irish, I saw that interview with Chip Kelly at halftime of the game. I don't think the new rule has changed a lot, me personally. If you're a good team, you bang the bad team. It doesn't make a difference. We told people remember first week, everybody was like, well, Navy's going to hold the ball and, Notre Dame won't be able to put up points. It's like, what? No. If you're the better team,
you're going to find a way to put up points.
You're going to find a way to put up points.
Yeah, I mean.
They found a way to put up points against Tennessee State. And look, UCLA, as much as he talked about the time, the game went fast. Yeah, you had 2 turnovers in the red zone. You should have had 14 more points on the board, Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
That's on you and your quarterbacks. So I don't think I've yet to see the game impacted by the new rule yet.
Yeah.
At Indiana, I was shocked to hear this, but Indiana really tried to play keep away from Ohio State and use the new rules on Saturday.
They should have been looking at the scout report a little harder and realized they don't have you don't have to play keep away with them. They're not going to run the ball enough to score enough points to get you threatened. Like, you got to get out of your game plan.
Yes.
And you want the quarterback to be out there because he's going to make some mistake at some point, or the talent's not going to rise to the level that they expect. So you can manage it well enough to get back on the field and score some points on your side. So I think we should take the ball first.
I
When we
was
get
like, yo, what are we doing? Is this college basketball? We watching North Carolina in four corners? Like
right,
you just refuse to throw the ball? Yeah,
scared,
y'all running triple option? It's
scared,
2023. Well,
scared.
yeah, we're gonna try and shorten the game and keep them off the field. Man, what is
That only works when the other team can't score either. And now you just playing for a last possession. You just playing for who's not gonna let the clock run out on them. When you can't score and when you're threatened by a team that you know you can't outscore or beat, you want to hold the ball. Because you want to make it close enough to where you can get lucky to try to get something random in the football game to happen for you. That's why I never liked our game plan and going into Ohio State, because you need to be on attack mode. You can't win by not scoring. So you have to be attacking in order to put up points to win. Defenses it's impossible for defenses to be lights out to where you don't, like the Ravens in 2010 or the early 2000s, where you only have to score 10 points to win the game. You can't. It's 2023 and it's college football, and kids are way less detail oriented.
man? You know what? What's that phrase from the movie? I forget the movie. Ain't nothing between us but space and opportunity.
Yeah,
And that's the advantage for offenses. It's nothing. That field is too wide.
We've been acting like we've been David Robinson for so long, but the game has changed. Teams that's winning championships got Steph Curry's. We can't win with a David Robinson championship right now anymore. We gotta go get us some shooters. We gotta get us some shooters. Now teams are worried about us shooting the ball instead of us rebounding. We got the most rebounds in the league.
Yeah.
We can rebound the hell out of the ball. We rebound, kick it back out, get a second chance, miss it, get another rebound, miss it.
Yeah.
But we ain't had no shooters. We had great defense. We hold the team to 81 points, but we only scoring 69. But they averaging whatever because we ain't got no shooters. So Marcus Freeman said, hey, I want to turn into an offensive team. Let's go get us some young dudes from Kentucky. Let's go get us some high draft picks. Some guys like Trey Young, shake it up a little bit. But we're going to be an offensive team moving forward. And when we've done that, lo and behold, our defense looks great. Oh, we holding teams to 7 points. Yeah, because we scoring 42. We got teams all out of whack. Teams got to go in there and be like, dang, we got to go in there and think of all these passes because we got to catch up with Sam Hartman in the offense. Now the defense looking great. Picks and turnovers and 3-and-outs. Teams can't play like they used to play against us.
Yeah.
And as long as we won't allow teams to settle in on us like we haven't been able, like we've been doing right now, I don't know how you beat us. I don't know how.
Well, Lucky Lefty podcast. You might not know how we get beat, but North Carolina State is going to give it a go on Saturday. I want to talk about Brenan Armstrong, and it's Tuesday. It's Collaborative Tuesday. So, we started this. This is a new segment. Malik always loved when Jared Parker said, man, the offense is going to be collaborative through the week, every week. And I'm going to call the plays. So we want to know, LL Nation, how do you want to attack North Carolina State offensively on Saturday? Collab. But when we come back, we're going to hear from Left first, how he wants to open it up and attack North Carolina State this week. It's the Lucky Lefty podcast on CFB Nation, presented by Twisted Tea. All right, Left, North Carolina State, Notre Dame 7.5 favorite. You've played at North Carolina State historically. Crazy things happen when Notre Dame goes to North Carolina State, whether it's the weather, monsoons, coaches trying to throw the ball 40 times in monsoons. Garrett Parker is probably he's probably used 15 to 20% of the offense.
Yeah.
How do you see the offense evolving and Notre Dame attacking this Wolfpack defense that is young up front, not as good as they were last year, talented linebackers, and they like their secondary?
Well, I do believe that what we have the advantage of is being multiple in what we want to do. So if we wanted to turn this into a run style of game, we can do that. If we wanted to turn into a spread it out and have the team chase us across the field and down the field, I think we can do that as well. The benefit is that Jared Parker has everything at his fingertips to be able to adjust specifically to what their defense isn't good at. If they have great pass coverage, they probably don't have great run stop. So for us, we might have to run the ball, and we can do that comfortably. If for some reason they wanted to load the box against us and they believe they can play man behind it, I believe we're talented enough with Sam Hartman, not only to buy time, but has the confidence to find the open man down the field, because we do have some mismatches with speed that we can take advantage of. A lot of what we haven't shown, I think, is our biggest advantage. I do think that we still have a very deep bag to dig into when it comes to the plays, when it comes to things that we want to do to attack defenses. I think us not using the full capacity of our offense in these first two games probably has North Carolina going crazy on how to prepare, And so I think for us, the element of surprise and having teams on their toes is still at our advantage. And because of that, I think offensively we'll be fine. Defensively, playing finally a traditional offense that can pose a threat, at least more so than the last 2 weeks, I think that will be the challenge for them on how they really come alive against a team that is looking to run and throw the football consistently. Added it that you have a quarterback that's above average will give our secondary a good chance to really show their progress with Cam Williams and Ben Morrison and Jaden Mickey and those guys, the safeties, how they've shown that they can be one of the better units on the defensive side for the first time in a long time. So everything's coming into play where Notre Dame is putting themselves in a position that can put on full display that we are a very serious football team this year. And those first 2 weeks we can do versus a lot of teams out here, not just the specialized or the smaller schools of the world. Hopefully, we get to see an array of our running backs uh, show their versatility running and catching the football early, and then have Sam Hartman, undress the defense with our vertical shots and finding his guys that he really is comfortable with, like a JT or a Jaden Grayhouse. Our tight ends are getting more involved. So we're so multiple that, NC State didn't have enough time to really prepare for us, and I think it's going to show on Saturday. You're on mute.
You probably can go back and look at the second half of the Syracuse game if you want to try and get an idea of how offensive coordinator Robert Nye might try and go at the Notre Dame defense. That was when he made a change of quarterback and got his running quarterback in the game and started to attack down the field a little bit. That's pretty much a little bit more of what he has in Brenan Armstrong, who really only threw for like 100 and I want to say what did he throw for? He was like 17 to 26, 155, but he ran the ball 9 times for 96 yards with a long of 11. Once again, it's going to be interesting to see what Al Golden wants to do. How does he want to start things off? Right? They have a young wide receiver core that had a lot of drops against Connecticut. Second game, we'll see. The white people are saying it's supposed to rain and be sloppy. I told you, every time Notre Dame goes to North Carolina State, the weather is wacky but if it's just going to be a battle in the trenches, Notre Dame will be fine. If they try to open it up, Brenan Armstrong will put the ball in harm's way. He just will. He will. But hopefully they can get some clear weather and Notre Dame can start to reveal a little bit more offensively what they want to do and what they want to be going into Ohio State. Hopefully. But you have a quarterback that is used to playing in this part of the country in that type of inclement weather at this time of the year. That's another advantage that Sam Hartman gives you. As I said before, North Carolina State was one of the coordinators, defenses, and teams that gave Sam Hartman problems last year from a interception standpoint. They got a chance to fool him a couple of times with some coverage. They brought pressures. So it's going to be interesting to see how things turn out. You're on mute, bro, I think.
And that's what you can do when you know that Sam is the key to the team.
Yeah.
You can't do that now. If you put all your focus on Sam, we'll run for 5,000 yards on you. So it does change the dynamic of what used to work on Sam. It's just different now because, yeah, Sam is a threat, and the things and blitzes that you thought was the key are different. One, we can block better. Two, you doing all these coverage and stuff, you got to worry about stopping the run first. And when you have to worry about stopping the run first, all that fancy confusion stuff goes in the trash. And you realize we got to play straight up defense and hope the back end can hold up for play action. And then if we get a known passing situation, we can try stuff, but we got to be careful because they can block better. Sam's got more tools and more things that it is at his fingertips. That's a resource for him as opposed to Wake Forest. So it is a level to it where what may have worked before may have to be even changed in itself. I think it's going to be hard for a team to try to single out Sam as being the key drive to any of our, as the main factor when we can do so much and have so much depth running the football.
It's going to be interesting because in the trenches, when you lose talented seniors, I think they return. They're kind of like Notre Dame. They return both tackles on the offensive line and then one interior guy. Defensive line. Look, North Carolina State's defense last year, they beat Wake Forest and they beat Florida State last year. So that front seven was, man, really good, really good. Now they had to go to the transfer portal this year. Defense, in my opinion, is not as good. They played Connecticut. All right. Defensive line. I don't think they're anywhere as good as they were last year. And they're dependent upon that secondary and the linebackers to be their strength as the defensive line comes along. So once again, it's all about Notre Dame. If Notre Dame brings their A game, or if Notre Dame brings their B game. I really don't think there's anything that North Carolina State can do.
No. Not if we have aspirations to go get a championship.
I don't think there's anything they can do. Now, I'm still worried about in a game like this, if you have inclement weather, now I start to really worry about special teams left. I start to worry about special teams. The games like this is Notre Dame. So Dave Dorn and his group, they'll probably have something up their sleeve. I do like Peyton Wilson at outside linebacker for them. I really like Peyton Wilson. I watched the game against Connecticut. Love him. And I said before, the linebackers in the secondary, they're gonna lean on them. They're gonna lean on them. But what you said earlier, it's Notre Dame and the way they're approaching things that makes me feel better about this matchup.
Right.
The way Marcus Freeman, Marcus Freeman, his demeanor on the sideline is totally different this year.
Totally different.
He's working the refs. He's talking to Al Golden, asking him about calls. He is in tune. He is confident. He knows what he wants. And part of that is having Sam Hartman at quarterback. It calms things down. As a head coach, when you have a quarterback like that, it eases a lot of things, man. It eases a lot of things for you. Let's get to some comments and questions. I thought we had I pulled a couple of questions, comments from earlier. Oh, everybody's in the chat telling you how great of a job you did Saturday, bro.
Oh man, I appreciate that, man.
West Kentucky. And what's your game this week?
I don't have a game this week. I have a game next week, but it's kind of crazy because I got a call with my my talent guy to tell me what I was doing good and what I need to improve on. So I'm super excited that you guys like it, man. I'm only gonna hope to get better moving forward. So it's gonna be cool, man. It's interesting doing the live TV thing for sure.
I liked it because you got to your filler stories, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, he pulled one of the fillers out. I was like, okay.
That's what it's really about. A lot of people think it's the analyst stuff, and yeah, that's a part of it, but that's not going to get the fans locked in with you. You know, you got to really connect on some interesting storyline type of stuff because the analyst thing, like you said, everybody wants to be an analyst now on Twitter.
Man.
Like, I don't need to do too much football talk because y'all seem to know everything about football out there on the social media space.
And you know what?
Let
me say this, man. Let me say this. Like people were there was Notre Dame fans were being critical of our guy. Oh man, what's his name? You know who I'm talking about. He the main guy on Fox with Joe Clapp.
Oh, Troy Aikman?
No, college football. You know, I love when he calls college basketball games. Gus Johnson.
Gus Johnson. I'm a fan of Gus Johnson.
So I guess, man, look, it's so funny. How can I say this? Because I'm not trying to be demeaning. The fact that you're on social media being critical and you couldn't hold Gus Johnson's jock at doing the job that he does. People don't understand how hard that job is. They don't understand how difficult that play-by-play is, bro. And to bring energy, they don't understand how difficult it is to be a color guy. They just all simple, just call the game. They don't understand the pressure. They don't understand people constantly being in your ear talking. They don't understand the statistician being next to you, the other guy being next to you. Your attention is always left, right, but you have to have your attention on the game. And I have a lot of respect for people in the business. Heck, I don't think the Notre Dame, I don't really like Jason Garrett, but I have respect for what I know because I'm in the business. I know how difficult the job is. So when I see people critiquing and just saying crazy stuff, I sit there and laugh because I'm like, dude, you would be awful. You have no clue.
Yeah, that's
So while
true.
you sitting up here critiquing, you have no clue how hard that is. And Gus Johnson, we know the medical things he's dealing with.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's not going to be as sharp as he was 4 or 5 years ago.
And that's the thing.
But, you
People are
know,
so fake demanding. It's like, whatever, dude. You have like you really can't take everything somebody says and internalize it too much only because people come up with different stuff every time. And man, if you only knew all the stuff that goes into it,
man,
it's like, man, you can only appreciate the fact that they can do it day in and day out, which is the
bro,
hard
look,
part. That's the hard
people,
part.
do you know how hard it is to do a 4-hour radio show by yourself?
Colin Cowherd is amazing. I don't think people understand that. I don't think
Bro,
people understand that.
and I see people like he's made some egregious mistakes
Yeah,
recently.
but that happens. You on air 4 hours every
Left,
day by
left,
yourself.
like my grandfather used to say. You remember how we used to call old people old when we were
Yeah.
young? Like, man, you old. And my grandfather looked at me one time and said, keep living. Guess
Keep living.
what? One day, you're going to be right in that same position. It's amazing, man. It's amazing. It's like, dude, man, people expect perfection and have no clue what it takes to do the job. And they're not perfect themselves at what they do.
Yeah. Because like at that point, what is the perfect way of doing it? It's never defined. It's always critiques of people that are good at doing it, but there's never okay, what's the perfect way? There's no way you can
I
tell.
swear, every top-notch college football play-by-play guy was awful this weekend. You just go look on social media. Oh, he's awful. Oh, this guy's awful. Oh, this
Now,
guy's
okay,
awful.
I do think that one guy is like, could be is a little stale for me, and I always say it. And that's our guy. What's the name from the Dallas that they threw on TV? Dallas is called Jason Garrett. I was never a fan of
Oh,
Jason
well,
Garrett, but that's more from he's too monotonous for me. It's too of a too. He got maybe it's his tone that he uses. It's like, oh, he put me to
I
sleep.
would say, like, people say Chris Fowler is bad.
I think he's all right.
Even
Yeah,
Herb Street's awful.
Hershey's good now.
Like,
Yeah,
dude, who's good?
yeah.
Like, there is
They
no
think
one calling college football that's good. No one,
what you think about our
according to
guy
social media.
Collinsworth? They be dragging Collinsworth. I don't think he's that bad. He be eating him up on Sunday night, Monday night.
He's all right.
I'll be wanting to know. Maybe I'm not seeing something. I thought he did all right, but man, people they get on Collinsworth more than anybody that I see. Him and Gus Johnson, but Gus I think is unfair. But I don't know what they really saying. I mean, they be on our guy Collinsworth, and I'm a fan, not Austin, but his dad. So, oof. I think it's funny. I be like, why they be on it?
Left to me, and this is just my comparison.
Okay.
Because I laugh, right? If I've done this, remind me, Left. I'll say a lot of things about professional athletes, most professional athletes, when it comes to analyzing a play they made, a play they didn't make. Right? I'll give you a perfect example. I've critiqued and been critical of JD Bertrand.
Yes.
I've never come on here and say JD Bertrand is trash.
Okay, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? JD Bertrand has a football scholarship to the University of Notre Dame, bro.
Yeah.
It's a small percentage of dudes that do that in a lifetime.
Yeah.
Right? So what I mean by that, when people sit up here and critique and say, well, Collinsworth ain't good, he's in rare air.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That
saying.
dude,
It's
that dude is the lead guy on a major network for Notre
yes,
Dame football.
yes.
You understand what I'm saying? That's like calling the 15th man on an NBA roster trash. That man is in
Yeah,
the top 98 percentile at what he does in the world.
in the world. In the
Like,
world.
slow up, slow up when you critique, because you don't understand what it took to get there and the rarefied air that these people are in to be doing. It's only like, man, it's yo, when a major network gives you the green light, you've done something.
You done something.
And the one thing you cannot say, you can say what you want to say about Collinsworth. When he was at Notre Dame, that dude hustled. That dude would be interviewing players. He would be doing side reports. He would be creating shows. That dude hustled. So for him, he built a relationship at the school. He built a relationship with NBC. Now, for me, the voice of Notre Dame will always probably be Mike Tirico.
I love Mike Tirico. He's
When
pretty
Mike
good.
Tirico was calling Notre Dame games, it was fantastic.
Yeah. He
It was
just had a knack.
fantastic. But Mike
Now
Mike Tirico Mike Tirico messed up names. He messed up down the distance. Even the best make mistakes, bro.
now I like Austin. I was referring more to his dad because he be on the Sunday night, Monday night all the
Oh,
time.
you talking about
I'm not talking about Austin. I like Austin, and I definitely see the work with Austin because
no, I thought you were talking about Jack. I thought you were talking about Jack.
yeah, no, not Jack. Austin's his older brother. Duh, I'm talking about his dad, the dad.
Because Austin, like, he played until he got hurt.
Austin do
Yeah,
all type of crazy stuff. He a pilot, Austin's great.
yeah.
I was with Jack during his whole NBC come up, and so I
Jack
know
hustled.
Jack. I appreciate Jack.
Jack
I was
hustled.
right there in the beginning. I seen it. I was referring to his dad. I don't know why I kept saying Austin, but
Chris is a hustler too, though. Pro
he is a
Football
hustler.
Focus. He made himself valuable. He made his company valuable.
But they are so hard on Chris Collinsworth on social media, and I
Are they?
don't think he's that bad. I don't think he's that bad. They really be on him when I be seeing, like, when he does like the Super Bowl or the big games, they make it seem like he's the worst. But I think he's pretty good. I don't see the big
I don't have
criticism.
well, once again, I have a different point of view. First of all, I don't really who's calling the game doesn't mess the game up for me. There are some people that allow people that call the game to like mess the game. And like I'm so locked in.
Yeah.
I don't care what you miss. If you mess up a name, you miss a down and distance, I don't care. I'm so locked in on the game. That's all I need. I can cut the
It's
sound
so
down.
funny because when you say that, the networks really care about that. Like, that's like the Cardinals saying you mess up a name, and you're like, dang, I gotta, and when they explain it, you get it. But then when you take a step back and you, like you said, you focused on the game. You ain't listening to every single detail of the name
But
or something.
that's media. That's print media,
Media,
radio,
yeah,
TV. That's me. That's journalism. That's
right.
journalism. You always they tell you double check, ask 3 times.
Yeah,
As a producer, it was ultimately if I'm a producer, TV and radio, and I know I'm having a guest on or an interview is coming, the first responsibility falls on the producer
right.
because I'm supposed to get the correct pronunciation and forward it to everybody.
Right.
But ultimately, it's on the talent because you're the last line of defense.
That's right.
And if you don't know, ask.
You don't know, ask. No, that's for
Ask a
sure.
producer, ask the SID, ask somebody that knows, hey, how do you say this name? How do you pronounce their name? So yeah, that is the Cardinals in media messing up a name. Man, but if you can always go number. If you're not good at names, say number, commercial break, get the correct pronunciation, and next time come back and you're ready. I'm just telling people it's not easy, bro.
It's not, man, because it's
It's
live.
not easy knowing that millions of people are listening to you.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not.
Yeah. It's next level for sure.
But boy, I can tell you now, I don't know one play-by-play man in college football that's doing a good job right now, according to social media.
Yeah, you would never find it. Tony Romo is just such an anomaly because the fact that he's Tony Romo, and then he came with something a little that most play-by-play guys aren't great at making it feel like you're at home. And Tony Romo does a great job of making it feel like your homeboy right here just kind of kicking it with you. But he knows what he's talking about, where he got it in layman's terms, where you just, man, that's good old Tony, man. You know how to guide, the game. So it's really about your informative analysis, but also making it edible at home, like the audio edibles we have here every day on the Lucky Lefty podcast.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Doma Wop, it's funny. Either way, if another show is using the radio call, either they have a connection that has permission for the radio call. Because I personally have reached out to producers I used to work with at ESPN because I know Notre Dame goes through their radio. And I've asked them, like, yo, can you send me this highlight?
Right.
The radio call of this highlight. But if you don't get permission to use it, so that, man, if he has permission to use it, that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. That cat Ryan Harris is the biggest homer in the world, bro. I love Ryan Harris, but I would be sitting there producing the game, and sometimes I would just shake my head like, "Come on, Ryan, come on, man."
He really leaning into it. Huh?
Come on, man. It would flat out be a penalty on Notre Dame. That guy Ryan Harris is like, that's a bad call. I don't like
that's a bad call.
Like, come on, man. Like his hands are literally in his face mask, bro. That's the 15-yard penalty.
I wouldn't call that if I was him. I don't like the call.
And I love Ryan because he's fantastic. But boy, he is the ultimate Notre Dame homer, boy, when it comes to that radio call.
I'm gonna make sure I get on him about that.
Man, I love him, and he's a great guest to have on the show. But man, he is the ultimate homer.
Notre Dame boy.
He's the ultimate homer when it comes to Notre Dame. Lucky Lefty podcast. He is a homer. If you ever want to here's a homer call for Notre Dame, listen to Ryan Harris. You know what time it is, Left.
Petticoat, Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty history? Petty Junction.
Petty Junction, Petty Story today brought to you by Onora Whiskey at NoraWhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey at NoraWhiskey.com. Look, man, I want to, because we jokingly had this LeBron, Michael Jordan debate all the time. What I need people to do is that if you don't have information when you make statements, you know where I'm about to go, bro.
Oh, man.
Rich Paul,
Why you getting on Rich Paul, man? Leave Rich Paul alone. Man.
you are an amazing agent. The way you worked yourself up the ranks in the NBA, absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I expect nothing less for you to cape for your boy and believe what you believe about your boy. But you are too wise and too entrenched in the game of basketball to say stupid stuff and misinformed stuff. Just say LeBron is the dude because he's the best. Just say LeBron is the dude because he's the all-time leading scorer. Just say LeBron's the dude because he's been in this many finals that are. Dude, there's so much stuff you can say. Your dumb self said he's the best because Mike didn't have nobody to be judged by. What the heck are you talking about? There were two dudes that literally saved the National Basketball Association that Michael Jordan was compared to when he came into the league. What are you talking about? That's all they said. Yeah, he can jump. Yeah, he can dunk. Yeah, he can score, but he can't win. Magic and Bird, they win. That was the comparison, you goofy. What do you mean he didn't have anybody to be compared to?
I mean, hey,
that's when you do. That's when you know. That's when you know. I can't take people like that seriously, bro. I can't take people because they're not in search of the truth.
Okay, so he's just clouded by the love and admiration of LeBron.
That dude, you're not even trying to have a real conversation. Now you're trying to just create stuff. That is the dumbest reason I've ever heard given for LeBron. The dumbest. The dumbest. You need to drop that. Leave it alone. Even Malik is laughing, bro. He had no one to who. He was compared to Mike. Who was Mike compared to? Dog, did the NBA start in 1985 when Mike got 1984 when he got to the league? Am I missing something?
No, you're not missing nothing.
What are you talking about? And then the goofies on the podcast, yeah. Let me tell you something, man.
That's what make it worse right there.
Stop. It's not even about who you prefer as the best. If you're going to make a statement, make sure you have the right information, man. That's all. That's it. That's why I didn't have a problem like yesterday, Left. I didn't have a problem with what side of the coin people fell on when it came to Deion Sanders.
Right.
I just wanted to point out that the media showed they were soft this weekend. That's it. They showed they were soft. That's it. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you love LeBron, you love LeBron. If you love Mike, you love Mike. If you love Magic, you love Magic. Heck, if you love Bird, you love Bird. But make sure your reasons for putting them at the top are founded upon facts and truth. He wasn't compared to anybody. What in the world? Who you got?
Oh man, the pay chain I got. Oh man. Oh, have you seen the situation with the lady that got hit with the brick, and then all the people that was standing around was like, "Well, she was asking."
Once again, what did I say last night? You have people that believe left. You have people that believe right. But everybody knows the world we live in.
And hearing the response of the guys that were like, "Well, she out here." So it's a crazy concept between people that are provocateurs that turn to victims. So I don't know. I just think it's a fine line. But you mess with people too much, what you expect? I don't know. If you mess with people and leave people alone, that'll be my summary of the day. Leave people alone, man.
Yeah.
Leave people alone. Well, you get yourself hurt out here. So
it's like, yo, Ron Franklin was fantastic on Saturday nights on ESPN. Great call. Vern Lundquist is absolutely amazing. CBS. Keith Jackson, absolutely amazing. I think Gus Johnson is absolutely amazing. You know who's amazing? If you ever get a chance to listen to the Florida State radio call. I forget his name. He is the radio voice of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Florida State. He is absolutely amazing. His voice, bro, he has one of the best voices. Let's see. Oh man, I forget his name, and I don't want to mess up his name because it's one of those names that's easy to mess up. But if you want to talk about top-notch broadcaster, he's a radio call for Tampa Bay and for Florida State. Top-notch. So.
Who is that one?
So, run to the light. Quarterback is very important. Hopefully, Notre Dame will run to the light the rest of the schedule. And Marcus Freeman has already done that. The young players are playing, they're developing. We're starting to look like a top-notch program looks. Eventually, hopefully, some true freshmen will be starting. Because that's what happens. Like, you look up and Caleb Downs is starting for Alabama, snap one.
Oh, but he's different.
Yeah, he's different.
He's little different. He's a beast.
Yeah, he's different. But, people saying little slick stuff in the chat, Boston fans talking about Jordan never beat Bird in the playoffs.
I mean, hey, that's true.
Come on, man.
No, you're not rocking with that?
See, this is the cornball stuff I get. People like to single out players as if Mike wasn't playing against 5 Hall of Famers when he faced Bird, with the likes of Brad Sellers and Dave Corzine on his team. So now you want to stand and beat your chest. Jordan never beat Bird, even though Bird had 4 Hall of Famers with him and Michael Jordan had nothing with him. We beat Jordan. That's what I tell Detroit Pistons fans, right? Like they talk
Yeah.
about that, like, oh man, we used to bang y'all. I said, yeah, until it was even. Once the teams got even,
It was the whole different story, huh?
what happened? So that's funny to me. Because I guarantee you, if the teams were ever even with Bird and Jordan, it wouldn't have been close. People love beating their chest, boy. Like basketball is a one-on-one game. He never beat Bird in a playoff. All right.
Man.
Bird never won 3 straight either. Tomorrow left, same time. People are loving our primetime shows left.
I know they loving it. It's a good change up sometimes.
We must get buck wild at primetime.
Yeah, it's a little more. It's more after dark. You know how they go. This is more commercial or standard on time business.
Yo, we gotta get the boys on from the Believe Network, bro.
Well, we got to.
We gotta get CJ and Dev on.
Hey, they doing their thing too, man. It's good to see them boys for sure.
We gotta get them on a primetime show, dude.
Let's get it.
When it's late, and just go buck wild. All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow, man. Coach Vic said MJ never beat Elijah one. Yeah, he never played him. Not in the playoffs. Heck, LeBron never beat
LeBron beat everybody, man. Come on now. You don't get the most points of all time, not beating everybody.
LeBron's never beat Jamal Murray in a playoff.
Jamal Murray is going to be a blip in the history of NBA.
I'm just saying, he's never beat Joker in a playoff.
Okay, but that's still be to be announced. TBD. To be decided. He still got time. And hey, don't let us trade AD for some monsters. Don't let us trade AD for some monsters now, because you know everybody's tradable.
Hey, I'll give you Zach LaVine.
No, whoa.
And Vucevic, I'll give you Zach LaVine and Vucevic for AD.
We talking about Giannis now.
No. You love Zach LaVine, boy. You cape for Zach LaVine hard.
Oh, we got our points. We got our point guards. LeBron a point guard. He's good. We straight. We're trying to trade AD.
I got a trade for you. I'll give you Zach LaVine and you give me Austin Reeves.
Yeah, right. Well, shoot, Austin Reeves, y'all can have. If he go to Chicago, he ain't gonna be the same. He gonna turn into your boy. We already saw what happened with that. Y'all already got our boy. What's his name?
No bet.
Huh?
No bet. What you mean?
You guys already got our guy, our previous Austin Reed.
Oh, Alex Caruso?
Yeah, that's our previous Austin. You already tried it.
Man, you know darn well Austin Reed's better than Alex Caruso.
Caruso was the same thing. Hustle player, played great defense, smart.
Had no handles or 3-point shot anywhere near Austin Reed.
Austin Reed just plays good when he's called upon, like Caruso.
Come on, man.
And hey, y'all already tried the Austin Reed experiment.
I'm just trying to get Zach LaVine off this team, dog.
Man, y'all trying to pay that man more money.
Y'all don't have a spot? You sure you don't have a spot?
We'll take DeMar. We'll take DeMar, though. DeMar trying to come home.
No. Y'all can't have DeMar.
DeMar, come on home.
No.
Come on down.
No.
Look, we'll revamp the same crib you had when you came out here, man. Come on.
No.
Y'all can have AD. We'll get DeMar. Hey, AD go home, right? AD going home to Shy, right? Get him some pizza, all that. We would love to send AD home. Just give us DeMar. Let me snatch that up. And you probably got to give up another player and a couple picks.
First of all, Patrick, this is an inside joke between me and Malik. Malik knows I don't count that bubble crap from 2020. That's
Wait a
why
minute.
that's why he understood exactly what I said. Nobody counting that crap. We're talking about real playoffs with fans.
Oh, good. With
Not
fans.
fans, not fans on the video board watching at home.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you said that's what it was, huh?
Man, come on, man. That wasn't no playoff. How can you even call that a playoff?
Man, listen, it's the conditions in which the players were under were second to none, will never happen again. And it showed just how great LeBron can be. That's all.
That crap was not the same as a normal playoff. You cannot count playing in that bubble the same as playing in Denver in front
It
of
was
those
harder.
fans.
It was harder in the bubble.
I mean, no. Certain things are debatable. If you want to talk about the personal individual challenge mentally, that's debatable. You're not about to sit here and tell me an empty stadium is easier than playing on the road in a hostile environment. Now, come on. I'll give you the mental side, but the actual makeup of a playoff and having a game 2 must win on the road, it's totally different. It's totally different.
Mm,
It's totally different.
no.
And I agree. I think the Lakers were the best team in that season, regardless. But don't sit up here and try to make it seem like it's the same. It's not the same.
It might be.
It
Oh,
ain't the same, dog. Ain't the same. It ain't the same. The environment, and dude, let me tell you something, boy. Don't you think the home environment mattered in that Golden State Lakers series? Hey,
I think
Staples was rocking.
I think it's just the emotion of the game too. I mean, Braun versus Steph, that whole thing. They have a secret beef going on, It's always interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm consistent. I'm consistent. That ring that the Dodgers won that year, who did they beat? Tampa Bay on that same field. Man, that's not playoff baseball, dude. That is just not. It's not. It's not, bro. It's something about the environment, bro. And Coach Vic is right. LeBron won on the road, right? But guess what? Hold on. Environment. Who buttholes got tight in that game 7? Steph's butthole got tight, didn't it?
Yeah.
Why? At home, game 7, you were up 3-1. Environment matters. It matters. It matters. Once Kyrie and Bron got to 3-2, Golden State got tight in them up the rest of that series. And the environment mattered. And the surrounding mattered. Is there any surrounding you worried about with Notre Dame in this schedule this year?
No, we should be built for it tough. Go in there and win the dang game. Don't stress us out too much, Indy.
I'm trying to think. Do we go anywhere that's like a crazy environment?
I don't know.
A crazy environment on this schedule. It's really not too many crazy environments in college football anymore, is it?
They said Michigan was top 5, so I knew it was pretty much nothing.
Michigan really I know it's big, but I don't know if the big house is like a buck wild crazy environment like that. Like intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
Because Ohio State wasn't intimidating to me last year.
No.
It just didn't come across like that. Heck, it definitely wasn't intimidating in Michigan last year.
No. At all.
You know what used to be, which you know what came across as intimidating
What?
when I was younger? The swamp.
Yeah. It's
But
intense.
this was back in the day when the old ball coach was there. And they were throwing the ball all over the field. The swamp came across as intimidating. That was when I was younger. The Orange Bowl was intimidating back in Miami's heyday. It came across as intimidating. Other than that, Michigan Stadium was never intimidating. I had been there as a kid to watch games. Alabama never came across as intimidating. I think Alabama's just because we've seen people walk. Dak Prescott walked in there and won a game.
Yep.
Lane Kiffin's walked in there and won a game. The coach before Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss walked in there and won a game. Johnny Manziel walked in there and won. Alabama's never been that.
Kelly walked in there and won a game.
Yeah, Alabama. Because I'm talking about the environment. Ryan Denny Stadium. It's no. I've never gotten that vibe. I don't know too many venues that are just flat out intimidating in college football. Is Clemson intimidating? You've been there.
No, not really. It's
Now I've heard this. I've heard Penn State can be intimidating.
Yeah, they said Penn State's pretty good. I can see that. I mean, the drive to get to Penn State's pretty intense.
It's one way in, one way out.
Yeah,
through the mountains
for you,
right? And the stadium big, lots of noise. I've heard Penn State is okay. LSU at night is supposed to be like super intimidating. That's interesting, man. You would think there would be more intimidating environments, not just like good teams that are playing at home, but environments.
Yeah, it just depends. You know, a lot of these teams are up and down every year, so it's hard to be consistent fan base that goes crazy. You know,
at some point in time, if I'm not mistaken, I think Washington was considered a pretty loud environment back in the day. Left, let me know if you want to go prime time sometime this week, other than the early show. We'll do that for the people. Have a great day. Make sure you spend it different.